This is Automated Thought.
Hey everyone, I know I'm a little late to the game here, but I wanted to do my own look back at the legendary Batman, the animated series, one of the greatest cartoons of all time. As you might know, it's been 25 years since this cartoon premiered and really changed the world of syndicated animation. It's kind of hard to remember now in our superhero-drenched pop culture, but back in the late 80s, the old Marvel and DC superheroes had kind of fallen off the radar. When most people thought of Batman, the first thing that came to mind was the old campy Adam West series from the 60s. On television, the Super Friends and the Legion of Doom were a long-gone memory. Television animation belonged to Disney. Or the newer, weirder, funkier shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Batman and Superman were considered quaint, old-fashioned. They were something that your parents liked growing up. But then, of course, in 1989, everything changed when Tim Burton created the first Batman film. It was a huge success, as well as its sequel, Batman Returns, and it totally renewed interest in these characters. That's when, of course, Batman the Animated Series was given the green light. It debuted on September 5th, 1992, and it changed the legacy of Batman and animation in general forever. While it partly borrowed the darker tone of Burton's movies, it also combined that with the classic Batman detective stories of yesteryear. It was a really smart synthesis, combining the old and new and creating something that was the culmination of everything you loved about Batman up to that point. Their version of the Joker, voiced by Mark Hamill, he contained elements of both the campy Cesar Romero Joker, as well as Jack Nicholson's much darker take on the character, with his homicidal tendencies and sick humor. Their version of the Penguin was somewhere between Burton's freakish sewer dweller and the pompous aristocrat from the old days. This synthesis of old and new really elevated the series and allowed it to tell a very diverse and mature set of stories. In preparation for making this video, I went back and watched all 85 episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and so much of it impressed me. Some of the animation, true, does not hold up as well as you'd like, but it's the storytelling, which is so grounded in reality, so grounded in the characters, that makes it timeless. Nowadays, we tend to remember the flashier, sexier characters, like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. And I'll be honest, if I was in charge of making this show, I would have overused those characters to death. Pretty much every episode would have featured a sexy villainess with superpowers, or another chapter in the ongoing Joker, Harley, Poison Ivy love triangle. Thankfully, the actual creators of the show had much more restraint and much more maturity. Upon review, I was impressed at all of I call them the meat and potatoes episodes of Batman the Animated Series, ones that didn't need over-the-top villains to succeed. An excellent episode like POV examined the inner workings of the Gotham Police Department. Appointment in Crime Alley showed Batman's effect on the people around him and how the city viewed him as a legend, as a symbol. Another standout episode from the first season is The Forgotten. Do you remember that one? It's the one where Batman, while going undercover as Matches Malone, he suffers a head injury and loses his memory, and he's swept up into a criminal plot in which the homeless people of Gotham are rounded up and forced into a slave labor camp run by some horrible gangsters. It certainly wasn't the sexiest or flashiest episode, but looking back, it's really remarkable. This was one of the first times that I ever saw a cartoon tackle issues like homelessness, poverty, urban despair. All in all, very remarkable. Of course, it was a tad bit over the top. The leader of the gangsters was the freakishly obese Boss Biggest, certainly one of Batman's lesser-known villains. Let's take a look at this guy.
Why aren't these lowlifes working?
They have to eat, sir.
I have to eat. They have to work.
Man, what the hell is up with this guard, the one in the blue shirt? Go back to him. They have to eat, sir.
They have to eat, sir.
Jesus, this guard, Mr. Blue Shirt, he's concerned with the welfare of the prisoners because he's such a nice guy. And yet he's working as a guard in a slave labor camp.
They have to eat, sir.
They have to eat, sir. Jesus, give me a break.
They have to eat, sir.
Hey, Blue Shirt, you know what would be nice? Apart from making sure that your slaves get the proper nutrition, how about helping set them free? Why don't you call the goddamn police?
They have to eat, sir.
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 I mean, what the fuck? And this isn't even the weirdest thing that this guy does. Like, check out this next scene that he's in. Batman regains his memory and he starts beating ass at the camp. And this guy, blue shirt, he runs into his fat boss. And listen what he says.
A giant bat! Horrible!
A giant bat. He says it's a giant bat that's beating people up. And look, you can clearly see Batman here. Batman is not a giant bat. He's a guy in a gray bat costume.
Hurry up with that gravy!
This retarded shithead has lived in Gotham City for years, but somehow he's never heard of the fucking Batman. Who looks at Batman and says, "Oh, a giant bat"? Boss Biggest, the big fat ass. Like, he immediately says, "It's Batman, you fool." How can you be fooled by that? No. What the fuck?
They have to eat, sir.
They have to eat, sir. Yeah, real nice guy. Jesus Christ. How did you get this job? Who fucking came to you and said, "Hey, Gary, put your blue shirt on. I got some work for you. We're going to go work in a slave labor camp where we have to imprison people and beat them when they disobey." Oh, okay, but do they get enough food? Who cares? Look at the fat guy. He's got the meat sweats. Oh, God, look at this. Batman has to fucking lift his fat ass up just to save him at the end. Man, what was I thinking? Batman's kind of lame. I don't know. Never mind. Fuck it. This video's over. Have a good day.
Hurry up with that gravy! I'll eat him alive. I'll eat him alive. Hurry up with that gravy! Hurry up with that gravy! Hurry up with that gravy!